On today's episode of The Unwritten Rule, it's unfortunately officially the off-season for Mizzou men's basketball. Did a bunch of preliminary portal talk, just kind of went over the positions of need for Mizzou, what we're looking for them to target in terms of players and talent in the portal. Evaluated the roster, looked at the guys coming back a little bit, just talked about where the direction of next year's team could go, because that is unfortunately the point we've reached here. Had a couple names that we mentioned too. Obviously, a lot of guys will kind of come up with the portal just opening here on Monday. Mizzou will start to be linked to a lot more players, and we'll talk about those going forward as well. But mentioned a couple just to kind of get the ball rolling on transfer portal season. So did that, and then I had a good quick hits, had some more positive Mizzou news there. Talked about the Oklahoma win for softball, talked about gymnastics absolutely balling at the SEC championships and all that good stuff. So good show for you guys. And let's get right into it. The Unwritten Rule starts right now.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Monday, March 24th, and unfortunately, it is off-season time. Mizzou season ended at the hands of Drake. I wish we were on here on Monday to look ahead to potentially the Sweet 16, but alas, go watch me and Payton. We recap the game on our YouTube. It's on Spotify as well. Check that out if you haven't. Payton has recovered. I think we'll get a better mood, Payton, a little bit. Payton, is that true? Will you be in a better mood for this show? Or are you still?
Not really, because we got to now talk about the transfer portal instead of Missouri possibly playing Arkansas in the Sweet 16. I mean, woohoo, I guess. Transfer portal, God, it gave us so much this year. Like, it gave us Mark Mitchell, but it also gave us Jacob Cruz. So give and take. Hopefully we get more Mitchells than Carroleros. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, this has been as much of a roller coaster as the on-court results have been for Dennis Gates in the portal. You mentioned guys like Carolero. I mean, obviously injuries and stuff turned into that 0-18 season. He brought in a guy like John Tonje. You saw what he's been able to do. But also guys like Jesus Carolero. And then last year, bringing in players like Mark Mitchell, Tony Perkins, Tamar Bates, guys who were vital to the program being successful and getting back to the NCAA tournament. So this is a big time. The transfer portal does open today as you're listening to this on Monday. Kenny, I will flip it to you first because there are some rule changes and you're on top of it, which is important for this podcast because I am not good at reading long documents. So please enlighten the folks. What is different about the roster now? Because, of course, there was some stuff with Dennis and the amount of guys you can have on the roster. I know some of that's changed. What do people need to know roster size-wise as we look toward the portal here?
Yeah, I'll start off with just a quick thing just on the transfer portal. It does run through April 22nd. And then if a coach leaves during that time from the program, there's like there's a 30-day window that opens after that. So say a coach at let's just throw it out there, like Northwestern State leaves on March 30th. There's 30-day window after
throw that one out there.
And once the transfer portal closes on April 22nd, that doesn't mean players can't sign or choose a college after that date. That just means they can't enter anymore during that time. Looking at the roster, though, this is something that's going to be moving forward with a lot of sports just in NCAA. And the one thing that, you've seen recently is, Mizzou had 18 players on the roster this year. There's 15 scholarships in that as well. They had 3 walk-ons. But with the walk-on position is kind of looks like it's going to be more eliminated by a lot of teams moving forward. So then now it's just going to be a 15-player roster limit. And all 15 players are eligible for scholarships. So Mizzou's losing, 5 guys is what you listed there, Jack. So, looking ahead, they're adding 2 guys in the class of 2025 out of high school, Nicholas Randall and Aaron Rowe. So that puts you at, looking at it, so 3 guys that'll be out of eligibility after next season: Jacob Cruz, Mark Mitchell, Aiden Shaw, In 2027, you have Trent Pierce and Anthony Robinson. 2028, Marcus Allen, T.O. Barrett, Anar Boateng, and Payton Marshall. And then out of eligibility in 2029, as of right now, would be Trent Burns, because he has the opportunity to receive a red shirt after not playing this past year. Nicholas Randall and Aaron Rowe. So that's kind of how it shakes out there. So that's 12 guys. So there's really 3 spots left. But of course, of the guys returning,
right,
then some of those might not return. Look at Aiden Shaw, who's, really never took that next step. Maybe he's a guy that not necessarily maybe pushed out, but looks elsewhere. Maybe someone from that freshman group this year of Marcus Allen, T.O. Barrett, Aaron Boateng, and Payton Marshall also explores another opportunity. Nothing out there yet about those guys, but that's what the roster looks like as of Sunday, March 23rd.
Yeah, so the out of eligibility guys this year too, to like add on top of that, Marquez Warwick, Tamar Bates, Tony Perkins, Caleb Grill, and Josh Gray, they're all done. So that's important to keep in mind as you look to like how you replace those guys. Obviously, who else transfers? When I was doing this own list for my own notes, I split it up into like guards and forwards, and that's I think where we get into. We're obviously going to hear names pop up a lot more as the portal just gets going, because Mizzou will now be able to turn its full attention to targeting guys. We have a few names we'll mention at the end, but I think the important thing to talk about is like positions here and what the needs might be based on who leaves and who is leaving due to eligibility. So Payton, Kenny, I wrote it out. I split it with guards and forwards. It's kind of even. So guards next year coming back, seemingly you've got Jacob Cruz, Anar Boateng, T.O. Barrett, Marcus Allen, and of course, Anthony Robinson. Aaron Rowe, I know, is a guard. Randall, Kenny, is Randall? I forgot what Randall's build is. I forgot. I haven't looked him up in a long time. Is he
kind of like a
guard
wing,
build forward?
Yeah, he's
wing?
a 3-4.
Okay,
he's a forward, small forward. I saw someone call him a big man. I think he's more of just that forward position, 3-4. Or sorry, 2-3, something like that. 3-4.
So you've got
Mr.
those
Gates
guys.
likes to play positionless basketball, anyways.
Yes.
So
Yeah, you've got the Mark Byington. Everybody's a point guard. And then forwards, Mark Mitchell, Aiden Shaw, Payton Marshall. I put Trent Pierce in there. Also could maybe be in that wing category. And then Trent Burns. So Payton, for you, what is the biggest, I guess, positional need, as much as Dennis Gates plays positional basketball? Or maybe from the guys that, when you just look at the guys who are leaving eligibility a lot wise, where is the biggest hole for you in terms of what they need to fill, maybe what they need to replicate in a guy leaving, or just biggest position area on the court you'd like to see them focus on in the portal here?
Well, I mean, losing guys like Bates and Grill, I mean, I think that necessitates getting like a sharpshooter or two out of the portal. That's, I think, like the way, after watching 3 years of the team under Dennis Gates, I think they have to have like a lot of good shooters all the time now. So that would probably be what I prioritize. And Bates wasn't just like a guy that would stand out and shoot a bunch of 3-pointers. So you'd like maybe someone that's confident enough to kind of create their own shot, like Bates was a lot of the times. Maybe even a little more aggressive than Bates was at times. But I really think they need a lot of 3-point shooters, at least 2, I would say. I think that's a necessity, really. I know Cruz is coming back, and to say I don't really believe he can fill the 3-point shooting void on his own would be an understatement. So just as many of those types of players you can get, I would say that's probably my personal biggest wish, is that they get a couple of really good 3-point shooters.
Don't forget about Trent Burns. That's your 3-point shooter, Trent Burns. That's where I want to go from there, though, Payton. One of the things that keeps coming to mind for me is you lose Josh Gray, you lose a guy that really kind of changed the rebounding game a little bit for Missouri at times this past year, something that Missouri really needed to focus on. But how about, an experienced big, a guy that can score in the paint, someone who can really, if Payton Marshall sticks around, Trent Burns sticks around, someone who can mold with them, kind of guide them into that next step by their junior season or redshirt sophomore season in the case of Trent Burns. They're ready. I don't necessarily know. We've seen guys take that second step with Anthony Robinson and Trent Pierce, a little bit unexpected at the same time. Both guys have started primarily most of the games, especially in the second half of the year. But I don't know. I wouldn't say that Trent Burns and Payton Marshall are maybe, right up there to start games next year, just because we didn't really see much of Payton Marshall near the end of the year. So I think, an athletic big, a guy who can score in the paint, rebound as well. I think that's where my mind kind of goes for that major need.
I'm with you, Kenny. I think I look at it more as like I actually wouldn't mind someone who is more of the Josh Gray mold, just kind of a big bruiser. Maybe you bring him off the bench like they did with Gray this year. Because to me, like I look at the team next year and I see, kind of two alphas, and the main one to me is Mark Mitchell, and I think Mark Mitchell can give you that kind of paint scoring punch and lead the way there. I think they need a guy who can just be a pure bruiser on the boards, whether it's just like a 7-footer, a guy with the size of a Payton Marshall and a Josh Gray. I would prefer a little bit more experience. I don't think Payton Marshall is going to be quite ready yet to be trusted with that. Even that Josh Gray role, I think he's still got a little bit to go. Maybe he works his way into that over the course of the year. But I would like to see them add like another Josh Gray type to come off the bench. That's where my mind goes. I think just a bruiser, a guy who's going to give you an advantage on the rebounds when you need him to.
I want to just kind of add on to that too. Like I agree. For one, I was like at times it felt like the biggest Josh Gray supporter like on Twitter. I really do like a lot of what he did, and I agree with you, Jack. I think they do need a guy that primarily is just kind of doing what Josh Gray did well at times. I would also like to see, and look, I know this is so much easier said than done. Quality big men rarely hit the portal, and when they do, they cost an absurd amount of money. Omar Ballo from Arizona went to Indiana for a rumored over $1 million NIL. So it ain't easy to get, but I do think they need someone that's a little bit more of a scoring threat, considering you just lost guys like Bates, Perkins, you lost Grill. I do think they need a center that is a little bit more of an offensive threat than Josh Gray was.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I mean, it was, and two, like that's probably the right way to go, because so often I feel like this was the biggest gripe Peyton and I maybe had all season, was when Josh Gray was like pulled out of the paint and used as like a
connector.
Yeah, connector. That's the word I'm looking for. And he just couldn't do it. Like it was just, there were so many times he was just stuck out there at an island. So yeah, big, that's probably overall a little bit more skilled. And that's not to take away. Like we were a Josh Gray podcast. He was awesome in his year. And I think that was, you mentioned with the price, like the coup for Dennis Gates to kind of get him, as sort of with how valuable, elite bigs are. And I wouldn't call him elite, but to get someone who could fit that mold well and not have to break the bank for it. I thought that was a good get in the portal last year anyway. But yeah, I think you're right. Cause I think I look at the way this team scores and I could see it, or the way this team could score next year. And I could see it being, you have kind of two big men. The second one is a little bit bigger than Mark Mitchell. He's more focused on rebounds, but can do a little bit of scoring. You have Mitchell as your primary guy inside. And then you just maybe surround him with a couple shooters. And then you have Anthony Robinson as sort of this do-it-all point guard who you can run stuff through. He's going to give you what he gives you defensively. He's going to take another leap, maybe getting to the basket, something that Tony Perkins, I felt like, could do really well last year. That's, I guess, the grandiose vision I see for the roster in terms of how I could see Dennis going after guys in the portal. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, but or maybe any other positions that have cropped up when you look at this roster. But that's the way I look at it.
My only other thing that just came to mind is that guard depth too. You're kind of just building in some of those shooters. I think you need a Marquez Work, someone just like him to just come off the bench, someone that at times can take over games. And I think that was one of the big things this year, is especially early on, it was at times where if someone was sluggish, if Mark Mitchell wasn't performing, then you had an experienced guy who's in his 6th year of college basketball. I know we're probably losing those guys, those 6 years, and the ones that might be approaching 7th, have a couple kids and are 25. So, I think someone like that's established in college basketball, like Marquez Work. I don't think you're going to get maybe a guy with all the accolades at the group of 5 level or the mid-major level, but definitely a guy that I think someone like him is a good spot.
Yeah, I would agree. Peyton, you got any other roster thoughts?
No, I think we pretty much hit it all. I do think a big man is pretty necessary, like you guys said. It wasn't the one I brought up first, but I mean, the way Trent Burns has been described to us even is more like a 7'4" wing than just a center. So I do think that and especially because I think Payton Marshall still does have a ways to go. The ceiling on him is pretty high, but I don't think he's really close to it at this point in time. I think he needs work. And I think just like a veteran big man, like you guys mentioned as a need, is probably if it's not 1A, it's probably, if it's not the top need, it's 1A, 1B with the 3-point shooters for me.
Yeah, they need a bridge for Payton Marshall, to put it in football terms. When you talk about like a bridge quarterback, I think they need another guy to take kind of the bulk of the minutes next year, and then you hope Payton Marshall maybe by the end of the season can kind of be that for you, that destroyer sort of in the anchor in the paint that they need, and they benefited a lot from with Josh Gray, because I think it allowed Mitchell to do a lot more with the scoring and all that stuff. So obviously, names wise, this is we are early in the portal sphere here. Obviously, Missouri season just ended. I think you're going to end up seeing a lot. We've seen this the last 2 cycles, right? Where Mizzou seemingly is on like every list ever. When you look on X.com, the Everything app, it all happens on X. Those people post those lists. I feel like Mizzou appears on a bunch, but they've cropped up on a couple. We wanted to hit on a few just to like get some names out there to know early. This is by no means like, oh, Missouri's going to get this guy, but we've seen a couple lists just on our searching. One of them is, I assume it's Kimari Peterson is how you say it, from East Tennessee State. Pretty solid player out there in the SoCon, led him in scoring, 19 points a game. From Gary, Indiana. Shout out DeAndre Golston. You mentioned needing a Golston work-like guy. You guys, thoughts on Peterson from your explorations? I know Payton's criteria is always the Torvik, if they're better than the replacement player. I know that'll be a big thing mentioned in the next couple weeks here as we go through the portal. But yeah, thoughts on Peterson, 6'1" guard. Kenny, I feel like he kind of fits that mold to me of like that additional scorer. You can bring his kind of punch maybe off the bench. But what do you guys think of him?
Well, I mean, you look at the offensive numbers, they're impressive. It is kind of interesting because he's 6'1", 190. That's not really a Dennis Gates build a lot of the time, I feel like, but I don't think you necessarily need everyone to be like that. I think the 3-point shooting percentage is really good. It does scare me a little bit, the big jump it made. He does have, I said originally that stat in particular kind of gives me a little bit of Cruz vibes, but Kimari Peterson has a much better assist rate than Cruz. I don't think he's near you would hope he's a little bit better of a defender. So it's an interesting one. It would be the player to be named later in the Kurt Lewis trade.
There you go.
Yeah, it goes a little bit deeper than that, Peyton. I have nothing to add numbers-wise, but if you're looking with us on the YouTube and you see those stats, there's a year missing on there. Do you want to guess where he played in the 2022 to 2023 season?
Did he play at
West Missouri State?
Oh, did he play where Smith Peters coached?
John A. Logan.
Another
school that has some deep ties to Mizzou.
Yeah.
Some transfers in recent years, and I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's notable. Yeah, that's notable. I just kind of think like, I don't know. I the way I'm kind of projecting in my head the role of Anthony Robinson, I feel like a guy like this is the guy you bring off the bench. I think you kind of just need to surround a guy like Ant with shooters, because I just think Ant is that talented in terms of leading the offense. I don't know if this is the guy that's like you just put him in to be like kind of a spot up shooter. It seems like you can do a little bit more than that, but probably still would be interesting.
I will say I did pull up the handy dandy Torvik for Peterson. It is very impressive. Peterson was far and away their best player. He does have a high usage rate, which I'm normally not a fan of. But he's got a good effective field goal percentage, 55.9. His assist rate is 25%, far and away the highest on that team. Very good rate there. And steal percentage, 3.4%. So you can see why Dennis Gates might be interested in someone like this.
One last note, I think he only has 1 year of eligibility remaining too, for those that were wondering, because he got the extra year because he played at a JUCO his sophomore year. So he is listed as a senior, but it could just be a grad transfer next season.
Yeah, it'd be a 5th year. The other one I know we've seen a couple times that we'll mention is out of Nevada, Nick Davidson. This is an interesting one. I've watched this guy play a couple times. Where us being college basketball sickos, I'm watching Mountain West hoop at like 11:30, and I remember this guy making a few plays in a couple games I watched. He appeared on some list. We saw him mentioned. 15 points a game last year. He's a 6'10" forward from California. Would be I think a true senior. It looks like next season. He's an interesting one. I like this, and 6'10", sort of the modern wing build, 37% 3-point shooter. Took a kind of a roller coaster of a 3-point percentage for him over the course of his career, but like 15-6 last year. Interesting name to know. I think Nick Davidson.
Yeah, 15-6. So that kind of does make me think he doesn't just like kind of play straight up in the paint like a normal big would, but. I mean, you also see that the assist rate is not bad for a big man at all either. I mean, 2.8 assists per game. I would definitely take that especially if he's playing exactly the way Josh Gray would as a connector on an offense, probably a little bit smoother there. I would have to imagine that the demand for a player like this, though, is quite high. Bigs are quite the premium in the portal, so probably going to have stiff competition if Missouri is interested here.
Especially one is as efficient as he is, 50 on the dot from field goal from the field during his junior season, 176 shots. He took a lot more shots than his junior season. He took 277 from the field in 2023, 2024, and then this past year, 352. So did take that jump forward, but just looking at this past year, I mean, the numbers really stand out to you. Doesn't really turn over the ball too much. Not really a big fouler either, it seems like. So I think that's definitely something that keeps him on the floor.
Yeah, he's an interesting one again to know. Again, it's pretty early. I mean, these aren't guys that Mizzou we don't even know if they're a finalist for. It's just we've seen names on long lists, but I just think it's worth pointing out a few, as this kind of portal rolls on and gets started here. But I think that's the main thing, is addressing that big man, getting somebody in that can kind of replace Josh Gray and maybe be a little bit of an upgrade. And then I think shooters. I think it's pretty simple, kind of the recipe here for Mizzou in terms of what they're going to be looking for with that scholarship limit imposed. Any final thoughts, gents? Portal hunt wise, if there's any other maybe names Mizzou hasn't appeared on a list for, but you like. I don't know. I know Payton looks at so many portal guys, but yeah, other thoughts.
I'll throw one more name out there. It has not. This is totally me speculating. I have not seen him on any list, and I'm sure the competition for him is going to be very fierce. It's a guy Missouri faced this year, Jeremiah Wilkinson from California. He was a true freshman. I know he won 6th Man of the Year in the ACC. He might have won it. Well, he definitely didn't win ACC Freshman of the Year. Sorry, that was a flag. But Wilkinson, you might look at his numbers, especially you, Knowlton, because I've talked about this a million times. I hate guys that just enter the portal as shot chuckers that just aren't efficient. But Jeremiah Wilkinson is intriguing because, I mean, as a true freshman, he put up 15 points a game in a high major league. Doesn't have great assist or rebound numbers, but I remember watching him play. He plays very similar to how Tamar Bates or maybe Marquez Warwick kind of did. Decent enough 3-point percentage. You'd hope that would only go up throughout his career. So that Jeremiah Wilkinson, I could see Missouri kicking the tires on him. He's someone that intrigues me. He's kind of like that more create his own shot, kind of similar to Golston, similar to Warwick, similar to Bates in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think that's a worthwhile build to look at, because we've just seen Dennis go after those guys in every cycle and try and land somebody. And yeah, when it's at its peak, it's a guy like Tamar Bates, and it can be a program changer for you in a year. So, okay, Jeremiah Wilkinson, taken from the noted ACC SEC challenge game. That will be one game. I will look back in 3 years and be like, oh yeah, don't remember a lick from that Cal game, but sure.
Missouri was getting killed in the first.
They were early.
They came back.
Yep. All right. Well, there's some early portal stuff. A lot of pods we'll have a lot of names for sure as it kind of comes up going forward. So we'll see how it goes for Mizzou in the portal. We'll keep monitoring and bringing it to you. But for now, we'll bring you the rest of this show. Move on to quick hits, gents. Let's finish the show out. Okay, quick hits time. We'll finish up the show. It's time for my favorite quiz. Kenny, Take it away. It's Ken Sports Shorts. I won't detract from your segment because this is where you shine.
Yeah, I didn't think of anything clever this week, so we'll just go to Barstool's Daily Dozen Trivia. Pretty fun.
Great.
We always have a good time. NFL, after
right.
helping a school reach the Sweet 16 in 1997, this tight end made 10 straight Pro Bowls from 1999 to 2008 while playing for a current-day AFC West team.
I know the answer. Do you guys?
Yes, I know it as well.
Okay. Does Jack know it?
Oh, man. I definitely I don't remember right now, but I've definitely heard of who this is. Because
he led Kent State to the Sweet 16.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I always forget this name. It comes back now and again, but I'll just you guys go ahead and guess.
You know his last name well, but for a different person. No.
I'm pretty sure it is.
No, it's Antonio Gates.
Yeah. Yeah, that's who it is. Yep.
Kenny didn't have it right. Wow. If I'm wrong, Kenny, you can yell.
Oh, now he doesn't want to swear after the Drake game.
Okay. We got the NFL one wrong.
All right.
After winning the national title as a 2 seed in 2016, Villanova was a 1 seed in 2017, but got upset in the round of 32 by this Big Ten team led by Nigel Hayes. I know who it is.
Quick story time. I watched this game in a car dealership parking lot. I was with my dad. We had to go get the car fixed, and we were just driving in circles to watch the game finish before we went inside. It was great. Shout out Nigel Hayes. It's the Badgers, by the way, of Wisconsin.
Soccer since 2023. I know this one. Jack knows it as well. We'll give this one to Payton. Cristiano Ronaldo has played in a professional league located in what country?
Saudi Arabia, right?
Correct.
Yeah, good job, Payton.
History. A Wisconsin senator from 1947 until his death in 1958. This politician was one of the faces of anti-communism in the United States. I know it is.
I do know this one. This is not going to be like the NFL one.
I can't remember his name. I know exactly because he had a report. I know exactly about it.
There's a word name.
Yeah, there is a word about it. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. What are his initials?
JM.
Oh my God. Is it McNamara? No.
Nope. You're on the right track. That's Robert McNamara you're thinking of.
I know exactly. You could just guess it. I don't want to.
Peyton, it's your middle name, right?
Yes, Joseph McCarthy. I don't think we need to
air out my middle name. I couldn't remember. I know all about that guy. I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah, actually, I think my middle initials there.
Celebrity mashup. This is exclusive for the YouTube viewers. That's Emma Watson's face.
Exclusive. That is Emma Watson's face.
I don't
and the
know
hair, you guys are going to hate me. I know who this is.
I don't. I hope you do.
I recently watched a movie with my good friend Aaron, and that is Ethan Hawke. Because it was called Leave the World Behind.
He looks a lot older than I realized.
Yeah, it's Ethan Hawke.
Grocery products.
With a red spoon as its logo, this company is more known for cake mix products, but also produces fruit gushers and Bisquick.
Oh, I can picture it.
Oh man, I can picture it.
I don't know this. I don't think.
My brain is gone today. I don't know what's happening. I can't believe I forgot Joseph McCarthy. That's embarrassing.
Is it Betty Crocker?
That's a good guess. It could be.
I don't know.
Doesn't she hold a spoon?
She might.
No, but I think it's like just a.
But it's saying the red spoon is its logo.
It's just like a spoon in the corner of the box on the cake mix. Like I can picture this.
Isn't Betty Crocker cake mix?
It is.
I have
she does,
no idea.
Yeah,
you can guess Betty Crocker. I'm never going to get it.
Oh,
guess Betty Crocker.
That's the only cake mix I know. Besides whatever. We don't have to bring up that. That's
talking cake mix.
Okay, television.
We all love food.
Portrayed by James Lafferty, Nathan Scott played basketball at the high school, collegiate, pro, and slam ball levels during the run on this WBCW show from 2003 to 2012. I know what this is because there's a lot of TikToks about it, but I've never watched the show.
I don't know this.
Don't know it.
I think you guys have probably heard of it. They sell his jersey at stores, when they do jerseys from a show or a movie.
Yeah.
It's One Tree Hill.
Oh,
never heard of it.
I have heard of that show. Yeah.
I'll just show you guys real quick. One Tree Hill. I think it's made more like drama series for women. Not that that's bad or anything, but it's more of a drama series.
I don't recognize those people. Yeah,
I didn't watch it, but I have heard of that show.
Movies. What actress portrayed Belle in the 2017 live-action animated version of Beauty and the Beast?
Good question. I'm not sure.
She was previously an answer in this quiz.
Yeah, it was
Emma Watson.
Yeah,
That's funny.
a little bit lazy there.
Music.
Here, Kenny went 9 for 9 again, and I screwed it up.
More than 2 decades before Russell Wilson was trying to hype up Pony Country, this artist released the 1998 hit song "Let's Ride," featuring Master P and is it Silk, the Shocker. I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, never mind. Kenny at least got one wrong. I have no idea what this is.
I don't know it.
CeeLo Green.
It's not CeeLo Green. All right, you guys okay if we just give up?
Yes.
Guess CeeLo Green. Okay, I totally realized after
Montel Jordan. I don't know.
After the NFL one that Antonio Gates definitely played a lot longer than 9 years, so that is totally on me for NFL.
Who is it? It is Tony Gonzalez. Yeah.
I didn't even think of Antonio Gates.
I got stuck on the Sweet 16 thing because Antonio Gates was on the Kent State team that went to the Sweet 16. So that's my fault.
Oh, but we should have known 2008. He was not done.
Antonio Gates played like 10 years longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kent State, undrafted.
Yeah. College Kent State basketball, parentheses. Kind of
and they went to the Sweet 16. I'm like 99% sure. Does it say anything about the Sweet 16?
No, not on here, probably.
Okay. Oh, they reached the Elite 8 as
Elite
a 10
8.
seed. My lord. That's my fault.
2 seed Alabama.
Yeah, I was thinking about that run.
Shadow.
I was just like, that was screwed up for me. My bad.
No, that's okay. I had to pay Kenny carries once again. Tigers in the Wild. Back to you, Kenny.
Pro Day was on Friday, so there was a lot of former Mizzou football players around. Don't really have any updates from Pro Day. It seems like it's more just something like scouts are gonna have a better pull. Like there was some good press conferences, probably from some stories on maybe some people are gonna write before the draft. But this one comes from Tyson Ellison, former Mizzou walk-on, who's now full-time at KOMU, pursuing his education as well at the University of Missouri. But he posted with some former pro Tigers. Dalen Carnell next to him there. Dalen looks big. Like every time I see him, he just looks more like a linebacker than he did before. Isaiah McGuire there in the middle, and then D-Rob Mizzou there on the end. I think he looks the happiest though out of all of them.
Is that what we're gonna rate?
Cody Schrader was there as well.
That's cool.
The only like pro day thing I did see like from the actual like drills was that Luther Burden and Armand Membu rightfully did not do anything. They made their money at the combine, hopefully. So
yeah, smart.
This was cool too. Tyson Ellison posted this video from a baseball game over the weekend. Posted here on Saturday. Watch this catch real quick.
Yeah, wild.
I did see this.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about it. So there you go. Little bonus quick hit. Missouri has also lost both games to Ole Miss, so they're 0-5 in SEC play.
Yikes. Payton.
Way to ruin it.
Tiger in the Wild.
I mean, people got to know. My Tiger in the Wild is going to be Kyle Gibson. This could also be a double bird. Hold on. Wait, let me rephrase. This could be a two-time Dirty Bird.
Double bird.
Main Bird. Sorry, we retired Dirty Bird. Main Bird. Kyle Gibson. He is on the move. He is a Baltimore Oriole now. He signed a 1-year deal with the Orioles after one pretty bad year in St. Louis. He's still kicking in the majors.
This comes after Grayson Rodriguez also is headed to the injured list. So Baltimore really needed an established starter. Their AA team also got some new logos. You want to talk about that, Payton?
No, I don't think we need to talk about that one. But man, there you go. Kyle Gibson, St. Louis to Baltimore. It's drivable. Be there.
Oh no. that phrase
Had to get one of those in.
My Tigers in the Wild goes to Mizzou gymnastics. If you want to be specific, I guess I'll give it to Mara T. Tarsoli. She got another perfect 10 on the bars at the SEC championships, and Mizzou finished 4th, continuing just a ridiculous season in the gymnastics realm. And they will find out, I believe, their fate today on the selection show for the NCAA gymnastics tournament, and they'll go to regionals first. So yeah, very exciting year for gymnastics. A couple of perfect 10s, which is always fun. I'm excited. I'll tune into some regional action. Hopefully they can go far
To just put this into perspective, Missouri they competed in the second session. I think that is the first time in program history they've done that, which is a pretty big deal to finish fourth because the three in front of them are absolute Goliaths in LSU, Oklahoma, and Florida. So fourth that's kind of basically what most teams are just kind of trying to obtain at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I mean, the scores are very close to in gymnastics. You look at that, LSU at the top with 198.2, Oklahoma 197.925, Florida 197.825, and then Missouri was at 197.4. So, a good group of schools are at the top. Mizzou just really kind of biting at the heels of some of those Goliaths, as Payton said. Death taxes, Mizzou scoring 10s in gymnastics.
Yeah. What is that like? It's like 3 or 4 now, isn't it? It's a bunch
this year.
This season. So, yeah, hopefully they can do well in the regional. Hopefully it's not. We had tournament heartbreak in basketball. We don't need it in gymnastics. Mizzou needs to reach its potential there. Headlines, Kenny.
Yeah, I guess Mizzou just keeps getting worse and worse over the weekend for you Mizzou fans. But Keegan O'Toole finished his wrestling career, his Tiger-style career, just short of a third national championship, falling to a guy from Oklahoma State, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, Dean Haney.
Yeah, it was Oklahoma State.
I mean, it was an incredible career. I think when you think of Tiger-style wrestling the last couple of years, Keegan's name is there at the top, and it will be at the top for years to come. I'm sure he'll be back at Mizzou in the next couple of years too to bang Big Mo. But what an incredible run for him, and I think we're gonna kind of keep eyes on him moving forward too. Probably still trying to compete for the Olympics in the next couple of years, and then maybe WWE. Maybe we'll see him out there with Payton soon.
Amen. MIZ. Just a bummer ending to kind of, I think it was a down year as a whole for Mizzou wrestling. So just kind of a rough way to go for Keegan O'Toole. But again, two individual championships on his own. That kind of hard to really be disappointed with that kind of career.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. Does that say David Carr of Iowa State? He went back to school, did he?
Yeah.
In sports. I just got distracted by that in the article. Payton, your headline.
My headline is going to be a big one. Mizzou handed Oklahoma its first loss in softball yesterday. It was the first win for Missouri in SEC play in softball. They beat the top-ranked Sooners 3-1. The specific headline is just from Mizzou's website. Softball upsets #1 Oklahoma Saturday on Alumni Day. It was 3-1. Like I said, Sierra Harrison finally had a really nice game. She went 4 innings. Pennell had a stellar save. She pitched the final 3 innings. I think it was her first save of the year, or at least she doesn't have many saves this year. So very big needed win for Missouri softball. They're in the rubber match as we're recording, actually. So Taylor Stadium, or it's not Taylor Stadium. I forget the softball name field. It has a Rock M in the outfield now.
I don't think it has a name.
Does it not?
I don't think so. I think it's just Mizzou Softball Stadium. Yeah.
Mizzou Softball Stadium. There you go. Very big win. Oklahoma is 28-1 now. So welcome to the SEC, OU.
This is giving the vibes of when women's basketball beat South Carolina in like 2021 or 2022 when South Carolina was #1. And it was like they went on to win the national championship, and you're like, those Tigers couldn't handle Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Does Mizzou Softball Stadium need a name? How do you guys feel about just the unabashed by sponsored stadium names?
I kind of dig that. I mean, Mizzou Arena doesn't have a sponsor, even though that it was supposed to have a sponsor name, but that wound up not happening. But Mizzou Arena sounds cool. I think Mizzou Softball Stadium is fine. Honestly, yeah. I think it's cool,
especially with it being newer. Sometimes you go back and Taylor Stadium's a little bit older, so you name it after someone. But maybe Haverman Stadium here soon once Payton makes it big.
Why?
You donate money to the school.
Yeah. You give all your money to Mizzou.
Okay.
All right, Haverman Stadium. We will start championing for that. There you go. My headline reads as follows: Iowa basketball reportedly finalizing deal with Drake head coach Ben McCollum. Yes, I'm going to make Payton call back too. No, he already left. Yeah, so after beating Mizzou, Payton talked about it on the recap. We thought he'd get the job. Ben McCollum's getting the Iowa job, so I thought that was still a little prevalent given the loss. I will still root for Ben McCollum, as painful as that game was. Payton is shaking his head no. He should do well at Iowa, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that. I don't know. I didn't. I kind of only skimmed through the article. I don't think there's been any money talked about, but yeah, Iowa needed to make this movie from there. So yeah. Hey, Payton, at least he didn't get the Texas job. He's not in the SEC.
Des Moines to Iowa City. It's drivable. Be there.
Oh yeah, and Payton's also been a
getting
Ben McCollum
deleted.
fan. Payton's also been a Ben McCollum fan the whole time. Payton, would you like to address these allegations?
I took a tour of Northwest Missouri State once. They gave me a free shirt. It was a good sleep shirt. Why don't you spread more light? Why don't you shed more light on what's going on in the photo? What I'm reacting to?
You're
Kenny?
not sleeping in that shirt, Payton.
You got a joke?
Wide awake. You look wide awake to me.
No, I don't have a joke. The joke is that I don't have a joke. Not today.
All right, I'm gonna find a joke. I'm gonna find a joke right now. Hang on. Payton, you weren't asleep in that shirt either. You were wide awake. I think you're just in Northwestern State.
But I was going to sleep soon.
Mm-hmm.
This one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Guys, why did the car take a nap?
It was out of gas.
Didn't help. Yeah, there you go. It lost its drive.
Nope.
That's a good one.
Thank you. Should write these. Why did the car take a nap?
It was tired.
Oh, that's good. I've heard that one before.
I think ours were both better, Kenny. I liked ours way better.
Well, they weren't. If they were, they would have been the answer to Al's joke.
All right, we'll have more transfer portal stuff. I promise this is the last time we'll talk about Ben McCollum, Payton. So don't fret. Unless you want to wear the Northwest Missouri State, that's going to be some. I'll make that some bet in the future if something happens.
I'll wear the shirt on the show if Kenny reveals what I was reacting to in that photo.
That photo doesn't bother me at all, so we can do that. It's up to you. You can post it if you wanted to.
You need to reveal it.
Okay,
and
I'll reveal
the
it.
Shirt. All right, go ahead.
All right, we'll save that for you're gonna reveal it right now?
No, not right now.
Okay, all right. It'll be a story time for another show. All right. Until next time, we'll have more transfer portal talk, more football, spring football stuff too, recruiting. That'll all turn up now that we're in the off-season mode. So plenty to come. And yeah, until then, we will see you next time. Bye. Bye.